thinking about the topic that I was going to speak on today, I drew from the 12 powers of unity. So every month we're focusing on a power through our fourth Sunday, Family Fun Day experience. We're also focusing on that power in our youth ministries. And when I saw what the power was, it was strength. I don't know why. It didn't really excite me. I'm like, strength. Oh, well, so I did what I do. I first researched, but then I finally sat before God. And I came across this quote that actually has been a part of my life for quite a while. And it's a compass of my life. The quote is, "We are not in the world to set things right, but to see them rightly." And I don't know about you, but I'm like one of those kind of parentified children, meaning I always thought I was supposed to set the world right. It was like my duty. I mean, I took it on. So what if there are no wrongs to fix? What if the chaos we see on the external, the division, the fear, the conflict, actually is this pretty strong invitation to go within? Now, I'm not suggesting we shouldn't work for peace, but I'm suggesting that we cannot give what we do not have. If I try to fix the world while filled with judgment and fear, I'm only adding to the chaos. I am operating under that ancient illusion that you and I are separate. So to change the world, we have to start with the person in the mirror. So, when I was 19, I was what you might call whimsical and very irresponsible. I was 19. I mean, who's not, right? I had just moved from Southern California to Chicago just because. I believed in the inherent good of life. I really did. But if I'm honest, my faith was wrapped up in a very, very thick blanket of denial. So 4 years earlier, 2 weeks before I turned 15, my father passed away on March 7th, 1983. Yesterday, it was 43 years of his passing. And it didn't dawn on me till I started doing this. The story came to me, I'm like, when did he die? Oh my goodness gracious. No, this is the weekend. This is the week. The loss didn't just break my heart, as you can imagine. I mean, I was a daddy's girl. It catapulted my family into abject poverty. We lost everything. We had moved to Arizona for a few years. My father built our home on 15 acres of land. I had a horse in my backyard. We lived this amazing life. And then his cancer came back, and with 3 months from the first symptom, he was gone. And we spent all this money on his care. Last-ditch efforts, we were broke. The bank came for our home, for our property, for my horse. We had to give my horse away. We had to leave our dogs behind. Our cat was gone with all her babies. I mean, it was such a blur. There were so many losses that happened in that moment that I did what I had actually learned to do since a kid, is shut that down. I compartmentalized it. I put it away. I locked it away. and I walled up my heart. How could I not? Spirit walks through walls, doesn't it? And even then, Spirit was trying to call to me. But I was so mad. I was so angry. How could God take away my dad? My dad was a pastor, like my dad was one of his own, in my mind at the time. How dare he? And then that season in Chicago, I was in the fall, my first fall in Chicago. You guys know what it's like. I fell in love with the season. All the beautiful colors. You know, California has some season, but not Southern California, not like Chicago. But I had no idea nor concept of a Chicago winter. None. And I met this young man before I entered winter. I'm 19, he's 23, he plays the blues, he takes photography, he's a musician, he's an artist. I'm like, oh, he's so cute. And yet we had nothing in common. We had nothing in common, nothing. Like if we were to, when we talked, I was just like, I didn't know what to talk about. But I was determined to see the good. Remember, I have a very good imagination, and I do see I've always seen the inherent good in life, which is a good thing, right? Well, not when it's really wrapped in a lot of denial. And so I was determined to see good in this young man, and I made up stories about him and what he was going to be and what our life was going to be. Man, I could have written a play on what it was to be, because it was nothing like that. We were married a week before I turned 20. And his mother was like, why are you getting married so soon? Are you pregnant? I'm like, no, not even. But I was really nervous that I was falling for this guy, and because of my really strict Christian upbringing, like, you know, no sex before marriage, which I had broken. And so I thought, you might have to fix this. So I fixed it by, in my mind, my poor little 19-year-old mind, getting married. So life, you know, was going 100 miles an hour, but I kind of liked it that way, right? Like I just kept moving forward. I was definitely, it's not going to catch me. I'm just going to keep on making choices and manifesting different things, and that walled heart of mine, it keeps kind of trying to break free, but keep back there. I'm just going to keep going forward. I was outrunning, I thought, the abyss of loss, trauma, and ultimately the complicated grief that my heart was holding. So then the divine zaps started happening. Brutal shocks to my system. My first winter in Chicago, February, I was like, what is this? I didn't even dress properly. I had no idea. Yeah, I'll go get a warm coat. I was living in the Belmont, Sheffield area, and there was this Army surplus store. I don't know if you want, I want you to imagine it. I was a punk rocker. And all the punks would go to the Army surplus store, and we would get really cool, like Army stuff. And I found like a wool coat there. But it wasn't very, very thick wool coat, but it was like $15, and I could afford $15. And so I got that coat, and I got these like light mittens, and I just remember, I think I got frostbite because I still have like tingling in my fingertips. And it was like, I still didn't know. And the kind of cold that hits right here, like you feel like your brain is gonna freeze. I still remember that. I'm like, what is this? Why am I here? And I was broke, and I couldn't move back either. That was fun. So yeah, like I just cried and I cried, but then I just kept trying to see the good. And then I got married, and I'm still trying to see the good. But that day, my marriage day, I'm like, what am I doing? This little, still, quiet voice said, stop, please stop. And I'm like, shh, shh. I I can't listen to you right now. And I got married. And a year later, I became pregnant. I'm like, whoops, I didn't plan that. And it was just like my whole life kept manifesting, because that's what we do. We can't help it. So with not really making choices, I was making pretty important choices. So my firstborn was born, and I was in love. Absolutely in love with this baby. And then 4 years later, had another one. And yet our marriage was rough. So continue to try to compartmentalize. Let's put the marriage over here. Let's put being a mother over here. And I was exhausted. I was absolutely exhausted. We were always in financial straits. We were trying to make it work. I had a part-time job as a waitress, and I would go to church. But instead of finding respite, I would be driven to do leading Bible studies, leading groups, being there for people. I never talked about it. So I kept carrying it forward and carrying it forward. Then the panic attacks started. That was another shock to my system. My system was saying, stop, you're dying. I went into a depression. I had to take antidepressants. And then I started my first foray into therapy. First, marriage therapy. I thought we could save the marriage. But then within 3 years of that marriage therapy, that therapist helped us get a divorce. But in a beautiful way. This therapist really helped us uncouple in a way that would do the least damage to our kids. Not that that wasn't hard for our kids. But for years, I played the victim. I kept asking, why is this happening to me? Why does God allow this? I went to church, I served in the ministries. I sacrificed my happiness at the altar of being a good woman. I thought I was following the way of Jesus by suffering in silence. But in the middle of that noise, there was a persistent whisper. Follow the source of your happiness. Follow your bliss. I'm like, could I do that? Could I really do that? My divorce opened the door to that. The hardest thing in my life was to get divorced. I was very conditioned by my very religious upbringing. Divorce made God really mad at you. But then I also learned from experience that love was stronger than fear. I realized that my sacrifice wasn't holy. It was the form of self-abandonment. Has that ever happened for you? Have you ever completely abandoned yourself, your dreams? Yeah. Thich Nhat Hanh once wrote, if you are curious enough to look at your suffering, you have already enough strength to love yourself. And to love yourself is to love the world. So I became curious. I stopped running. I started looking at my fear. One of the bravest things is to live a life of love. Our brother Jesus showed us a path of Christ mind, a way to remain undisturbed by global events, betrayals, and the anxieties of the world. He taught us how to stay grounded in divine goodness that permeates everything. So I stabilized myself, and I continue to through various practices. I learned to sit with all the emotions, to feel the feelings. I realized those shocks to my systems weren't punishments. God wasn't mad at me. They were divine zaps intended to restart my heart. We are living in a time of worldwide change. Whew. Every minute, technology alone, I can't keep up. Every time I think I learned something, I'm like, oh, they changed it again. My phone just did an update, and I'm like, what? It doesn't even look the same anymore. You know? It's really hard on my system. I don't know about yours. And it's designed that way. We are designed to be activated. Do you hear me? We are actually designed to be activated, to continue to restart our hearts. It's like the divine has some paddles, and it's waking us up. So, why are we being woken up? Why? Why can't we just stay sleepy? That's never been our intent. That's never been the intent of the divine. The divine didn't come into this world to fall asleep. The divine came into this world to wake us up and to wake the world up with it. The it is you. I don't think it's a mistake that we're called the body of Christ. Does anyone realize that? I mean, like, really, we're the body of Christ, the hands and feet, the different limbs, the different parts of the Christ identity. So how do we do that? How do we wake up? Well, you all know how to do that. You're part of the unity movement. We train our thoughts. We take our thoughts as our own personal responsibility. And we say, oh, that's a thought that doesn't really line up with my values. Oh, that's a thought that doesn't take me forward in love. It actually creates a little constriction and fear. What do I need to do about that? And all of us have varying practices. My practice, I meditate a little bit. I can't meditate for long periods of time because I'm very distractible, but I do practices like yoga. I can walk in the silence. I can't really sit in the silence very well, but I walk in the silence of nature. I look outside and I really focus on a tree. That helps me. Remember, me and the tree, we're helping each other live. We really are. Isn't that amazing? Like my breath feeds my tree. That tree feeds my breath. Wow. So, you have this energy all bottled up inside of you. We call this bottle skin. Like I have it in me, and yet I also have it out of me. Like this energy pierces through the illusion that I'm just my body. This energy is beyond my personality. It's beyond this. So Romans, what did it say? Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Let's heal the us versus them mentality. Let's surrender to the mind of God, which is love. Let's look and focus. I heard this through a channeler. He calls us lighthouses. Let's look for the lighthouses. Let's thank the optimists. Let's focus on whatever is true and pure and commendable. And in that way, our dreams become beautiful. And we begin to live out of this interior space of oneness instead of the illusion of separation. And yes, it's not a one and done, is it? Oh, it's not a one and done. It's experience. So is that the purpose then? The purpose of our human existence is to practice the principles of oneness. Our souls must have wanted this. Why else? I don't know. I mean, we try to figure it out, but I really don't know. So my challenge to you is this. Stop trying to make the world right. Let that hit you. Do you have parts of you going, you don't know me. I have the right way. I know exactly how to do that certain thing. I know, me too, me too. So maybe we need to turn inside and go, sweeties, that's not our job. That's a heavy burden we don't need to carry. We don't need to carry making this world right making that person right, making it right on how I load the dishes in the dishwasher. We don't have to do that. We can say, little ones inside of us, can I have it? Just give it to me and let's release that. Let's just release that. And little ones, what do you do best? Oh, you imagine and you play. Let's give our little ones inside a different job than trying to fix everything they think's broken. And they can be the energy behind all of our wonderful ideas. I see a lot of that here in Unity. We actually have so many people that work out of this space. Like, what about this? What about that? I'm like, yes, love it. See, love cuts through fear. Love is stronger than fear. Love is the reality, and fear is the illusion. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a participant in a divine evolution revolution. Again, you are a participant in a divine evolution revolution. Stay grounded. Find your bliss. Soothe your soul. You are a part of a new consciousness that is already at work. This world is full of love. It's with you.